How do we save the planet if we can't protect our own people? Growing up, everything was colorful. My neighborhood of Sunset Park in Brooklyn, New York, was home to a thriving, vibrant Latino Asian community. But these days, I hear less salsa music and see fewer black parties. The culture, health, and very survival of my community is being threatened. I've witnessed fights for housing as long as I can remember. As a child, I saw my mom take our landlord to court after he tried to take advantage of our working-class immigrant family. I watched, inspired, as she stood up to him and won, refusing to be harassed. But as I grew older, I realized there was much more than a few shady landlords threatening us. When I was 19 years old, Hurricane Sandy hit. I couldn't remember a storm of that magnitude ever coming to New York before. Sandy left communities around me devastated, with houses and businesses in piles of rubble. The government wasn't providing enough help. And as the climate continues to change, we began to realize this wasn't the last disaster we'd have to face. So, victims of the storm came together, relying on each other to volunteer and organize, with little help from the government. Watching how our community came together to respond to disaster, we came to appreciate our own collective power. We realized that we could be the ones to build the sustainable communities that we had been waiting for. It was time to get to work. We painted rooftops white to keep our city cool, installed solar panels for fossil fuel-free electricity, and built community gardens where we could harvest our own food. I went around to local auto body shops to talk with owners about the toxic chemicals they used. We discussed greener alternatives, how to dispose of chemicals, and the safest way to store them. The owners were interested and wanted to help, but in our conversations, I heard again and again that the first problem on people's minds was not the disposal of chemicals, but rising rents in the neighborhood. So we began to fight for our land. We fought not to be displaced. We protested the rezoning of large pieces of land near us that were to be used for corporate development. These high-end developments didn't serve us, but drove up rent prices and gentrified the neighborhood. I talked to my people. I made myself available to listen. Sustaining our community is becoming harder and harder, but we're going to keep fighting, amplifying the work we already do. We want to create a place where our culture is preserved and we can live without fear of displacement. I love mi gente y nuestro barrio and will never leave the land I grew up on, because protecting our planet starts with protecting our people. Y porque Sunset Park no se vende, Sunset Park se defiende.